for the many nations.
And he saith unto me, The waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues.
The beliefs of many in the occult coincide closer with the first interpretation of the sea. In the occult, the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns represent the Qccult, or the tree of knowledge of good and evil, where the 7 heads represent the 7 hells, and the 10 horns representing the 10 rulers of the underworld. On the tree of life lies a region called the Abyss, and is often called the 11th unofficial Sephiroth, called Da'at. If you recall, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, the Qccult, was identical to and below the tree of life. This alternate tree is commonly referred to as an averse tree of life, averse meaning hostile, against, and opposite.
Tempted by the fruit of the tree of knowledge, stooped down to the Qccult. The columns were unsupported, and the Sephirotic scheme was shattered, and with it fell Adam, the Microprosopus. Then arose the great dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, cutting by his folds Malkuth from the Sephiroth, and linking it to the kingdom of the shells. The 7 lower Sephiroth were cut off from the 3 supernals in Da'at. The floor is black, having upon it also a triangle enclosed with the heptagram, bearing the titles of the averse and evil Sephiroth, as shown by the great red dragon with 7 heads.
Let's return to Israel Regardie, a knowledgeable magician and prolific occult author, regarding his interpretation of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and the beast with 7 heads.
Below the tree, proceeding from Malkuth, is the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which is between the tree of life and the world of Asaya or shells, represented by the coiled-up dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, being the 7 infernal palaces and the 10 averse Sephiroth. The great goddess Eve, tempted by the fruits of the tree of knowledge, whose branches tend upwards to the 7 lower Sephiroth, but also downwards to the kingdom of shells, reached down to them, and the 2 pillars were left unsupported. Then the Sephirotic tree was shattered. She fell, and with her fell the great Adam. And the great red dragon arose with his 7 heads and 10 horns, and Eden was desolated. And the folds of the dragon enclosed Malkuth, and linked it to the kingdom of shells. And the heads of the dragon rose in the 7 lower Sephiroth, even up to Da'at, at the feet of Alma Elohim. Before you are the 10 averse and evil Sephiroth of the Qccult or shells, collected into 7 palaces, wherein the apocalyptic mystery of the 7 heads and 10 horns.
The Whore of Babylon, like the Mark of the Beast, has itself received endless speculation and interpretation from Christian prophecy speculators. And like the beast himself, the Whore of Babylon has often been equated with a nation, church, or some other human power structure. The most common of these speculations is that the Whore of Babylon represents the Catholic Church, and, predictably, this interpretation is shared by many of those who are not Catholic but Protestant, most notably the Seventh-day Adventists. Catholics, meanwhile, claim that the Whore of Babylon is in fact the city of Jerusalem, citing the great Jewish power which has risen in recent times. Jehovah's Witnesses declare that all other forms of Christendom is part of the apostate religion of Babylon the Great. Here is what the Bible says about the Whore of Babylon.
So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman, and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns.
Babylon the Great is described as an entity or city which is drunk from the blood of the saints and rules over the kings of the earth and uses sorcery to do so. It is also said that the beast which she rides upon will one day betray her and destroy her. Adding to the respectable list of interpretations for this most lambasted entity, the occult interprets the whore in a similar fashion as it interprets the beast, a singular, particular being with a power structure beneath it. Occultists associate the whore of Babylon with a number of mythological goddesses. In Egypt, she is Isis or Nut. In Greece, she is Hecate or Astarte. In India, she is Kali. Lilith, Hilarion, Az, Sophia, and Tiamat are also frequently used names for this goddess. Interestingly, the whore of Babylon is commonly equated with the aforementioned Eve from the book of Genesis. She is often spoke of as the good and faithful wife, widowed, and finally becoming a host to some evil presence and becoming evil herself. In both the Bible as well as the occult, this goddess is crowned with many titles: the whore of Babylon, Babylon the Great, mother of harlots, mother of abominations, the Scarlet Woman, and so forth. She is also given titles like the Bride of Chaos and the Bride of the Beast, because it is said that she is now the consort of the Antichrist, rather than Adam. The occult not only associate her with vampires, but claims that she is the mother of a multitude of demons. It is also claimed by the occult, as well as the Bible, that Babylon will be, at least initially, in firm control of the beast. Those involved with witchcraft and Wicca worship the quote-unquote Mother Goddess, unaware that the whore of Babylon has similar titles like the Mother Goddess, the Great Mother, and Mother Earth. Further, this goddess is repeatedly associated with the moon, the number 7, the number 3, and the owl. Jack Whiteside Parsons, the brilliant rocket scientist and black magician, had much to say regarding his encounters with the Scarlet Woman. John Parsons, sometimes known as Jack Parsons, claims that he evoked the goddess and engaged in sexual congress with her. The goddess, according to Parsons, claims that she arrives in the midst of humanity in the form of avatars, using one body after another